Peace, everybody. Welcome to Confession Corner. I'm your host, Vina, a space where young Black adults are able to talk about mental health, self-awareness, and self-actualization. I have a very special guest with me today, so near and dear to my heart. He sure is. Lou, hi.
Hi.
I'm so happy for you to be here. It's such a pleasure. I really am excited for you to be here and us to indulge in discussion and just have a real ass conversation and just be authentically us, because that's what this is about. So I'm going to let you have the floor because I like to let people talk their stuff, get it all out and introduce themselves and just who you are, the amazing things that you do, and just the awesomeness of you and the radiance of you, okay?
All right. Lay the hand the ball to me and say go make a play. I'm Lou, and I'm from Philly.
Okay.
Super dad, amazing husband.
You sure is.
Shut up.
I love y'all. I love the fact. Y'all, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I love, because this is my cousin, y'all. This is like my real cousin. Like, this is a Mobley, okay? Because my mama's last name is Mobley. But this is a Mobley. I love my father's side, too. But Lou is very, very much near and dear to my heart. I think we started, like, really communicating, like, on our own. I want to say, like, a couple years back.
Years ago.
Maybe, like, on Instagram and stuff like that. I think that's when I started to, like, really reach out to, like, my older cousins and stuff like that, because of course when we were younger it's kind of like, all right, this is my cousin, okay, I get it, cool, but like actually having a conversation with you and building a relationship with you has been worthwhile, to be honest. And I definitely want to say you were like my fairy godfather in this whole process of me even creating Confession Corner, to be honest. A mentor if we want to be all professional, but
Right.
very much a fairy godfather in that.
The pod father.
That's a good one.
Pod father.
The Podfather. So I am so, like I said, I'm going to let you talk about yourself and everything that you do, but I am so grateful for you to be here, to be honest.
I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy that we connected as adults, and just speaking about that family element of it. I went through that too, like, going away to college and stuff, like I felt really disconnected from my father's side, and then losing my father was like my real lifeline I had to go back and build all the relationships on the Mobley side myself, with the aunts and the uncles and, stuff like that, so cousins. So, but back into me,
Yeah, back into
what I say, super dad, amazing husband, podcaster, writer, poet. I'm just a storyteller, to be honest.
That's a good way
I guess I'm a novice fisherman now. I love fishing now.
You be doing your damn thing with the fish. I be seeing you and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, hold on.
Listen, I just started fishing like 2 Father's Days ago. Like, just started, and I'm like addicted. But I got this, I work remote, and my job is in LA, so I have the 3-hour head start, and I don't have to leave the house.
Right.
So I'll be saying people like, I live like a retired person. Like, I live like a retired person lifestyle,
right.
So
because you have that freedom.
Right, I don't start working till like noon. I might work a little later, but in the morning times, like, what do you do?
Right.
So I go fishing. I need to get my big ass in the gym, but come down here with your mom and
Lord,
get in
listen,
the damn
she
gym.
would love that.
Yeah, but
she would love that.
I work in the TV industry. I do contract management. Back to the podcast stuff though, we started a podcast called More Than a Dad Podcast, me and my partner Dre. And it was all about, to us, it was all about like the imagery of like fatherhood and like what does it look like and how did it look growing up versus now. And like we were like the beneficiaries of like having fathers,
right,
versus some of our friends might have lost fathers. Fathers may not have been around. Fathers was incarcerated. So there are dads that I went to, there are friends of mine that are dads and fathers now, that inspired me to be a great dad myself, even though I had a great dad. So I had it in the house, so I already knew it was a muscle I was going to exercise, that I was going to enjoy being a dad. But it was like seeing my peers embody the same stuff, and everybody's path into like family and becoming parents is different. So I was, for example, like, I guess technically my son is my stepson. I don't ever reference him that way, but I should have did the show then. He 5 now. I should have did the show 5 years ago, but I wasn't confident and outwardly confident about our situation, and the relationship was still new. But after I had my daughter, my biological daughter, it was just over. It's like, yo, it's time to do a dad show.
They're both beautiful. I love them so much.
So, More Than a Dad it's a, we call it a network now because we're like a dad community and a podcast. And our future is in probably having events and stuff for dads to do with their kids. So just continuing this imagery, because I think it's what we need. It's like these little undertones in our community that aren't nourished. You know, like how important the household is, how important your parents are.
Yes.
You know, so we're definitely part of that movement. I know we're not as trendy and clickbaity as like some other stuff, but you know, you come over to More Than a Dad and get some good parenting talk, and it ain't always super serious. Sometimes it's lighthearted, sometimes it's funny, because you got to think about the things you experience as a dad. You know, like Dre was talking about, like his son going through puberty and like having an erection, and like his mom ain't know what to do with that, but you a man, you got a penis, you know what's up,
right?
You know but you know what to do, right? But like, I got smaller kids, so I got all the, you know, Cole Brown, baby done dookied up the back. You know, I got them type of stories, you know, so it's a combination, you know, when you're over at More Than a Dad, if you want to go check that out.
Oh, I love that. And I've definitely tuned in to your latest, like, season that y'all did, and it's the conversations y'all had with the men, even men who weren't fathers, you know what I'm saying? And especially, like you told me about, I had yet to get to those episodes. The one with the women, just talking about the dynamics of their relationship with their fathers and men, and just what it means to them and stuff like that. So I do commend y'all for that, because it's very much needed.
Right. I just think it's like the work we're doing over there isn't like the flashy, sexy, clickbaity type of work we're doing. I think it's more just it's necessary. We've been on this break for the summer, and people are like, man, I need the show to come back out. Like, where y'all at?
Wow.
You know, you have this interest of like people wanting to do the show, people who listen, and they asking like, yo, like y'all are part of my every Friday. You know, now there's 30 minutes every Friday. It's not there. Where y'all at? You know, but we're probably getting into that a little later about the break and stuff. But you know, that's what More Than a Dad is. And
are you proud to see how it has matured ever since you had started with Dre?
Oh man, I think so. Dre is one of my best friends, of course, but like we always talk about building teams. I know when we have our conversation, you need a team, you need people. You can't just be you get burnt out. I love how Dre goes from like supporting me behind the scenes on another show and another creative venture to like me dragging him onto the show, and then us building this chemistry and like this comfortability of like with each other, what we're going to discuss. Because you know this is hard to do. I don't know everybody really understand.
It's very
right. It's hard. It's hard to do.
Very tedious.
It's a chore. You know, it's a chore. You know, whether it's cutting up the film or the footage and putting the clips together, or it's how often you record, it's scheduling the guests, it's what we're going to talk about. How, at some point, this has to be either educational or entertaining,
right,
to actually build a listenership. So it has to be one of them two main things, and everything else fall in line. Oh, it's relatable, or they're young and black too, they're black fathers, or you know, whatever else is the hook that gets you. But it has to be one of them two things initially. Right. So the conversations that you're generating has to either be educational and informal, or it's something that somebody's entertained by. But I love the chemistry me and him have had, and watching our chemistry, and like we went from like I felt like needing to interview people to like we do shows by ourselves. And now he kind of like, man, we going there and shoot 4 today by ourselves.
Whoa.
You know, like, 'cause that's how we was recording.
That stamina is crazy, I'm not gonna lie.
We'll go shoot 4 30-minute shows, probably about 3-4 hours.
Okay.
And but it went from like, yo, let's interview people, and like it was just all this. We just needed a guest and we wanted to tell so many different dad stories. But once we start kind of chasing that, it just hunkered in on like, man, people really enjoy us too. And that also allowed the audience to like, oh, I like Lou, and be a little more interested in the people and the characters, you know, versus like who they got on this week. And so sometimes you need a little contrast. So we was doing a little mix for a while. But I love that like he went from like really couldn't talk, you know, he got all the I think the best way to describe me and Dre on More Than a Dad is we probably cover like 80% of like dad experiences without obviously being grandfathers and like, you know, losing a child or stuff like other experiences, but we have had shows with that stuff, right? So but like 80% of it, like how he came into fatherhood, teen father, how I came into fatherhood, step parent, you know, and like you see the difference in the contrast that we have, and now that he's in a space where like he could talk about everything. He could talk about child support, and he could, you know, he good with all these people, you know, and comfortable sharing. So it just made the show even more better.
Right.
So
That's beautiful. I love that. How many years has it been? It's been.
it'll be 2 years, December 16th. So
Wow. It'll be a year for me, December 22nd.
okay.
I believe. Not you got December 16th because my birthday is on the 17th now. Look.
Well,
Be a whole bunch of celebrations. Celebrations are in order.
Yes.
Okay. So with even just matriculating through that, have you felt as if that you are building more than just a network? Like in the future, do you feel as if like you'll be able to like expand this to something even more?
Yeah, I always talk to you about like you have a goal for your show creatively, right? And you're probably meeting your creative goal because you're doing it, right? But you know, we're living this time where like everybody's entrepreneurs and side hustles, and you want to eventually funnel your people to somewhere so you can maybe not work no more, or like, you know, create another stream of income. And I think that's the part that we're probably trying to figure out, because it's like we have the option to probably do like a nonprofit, and then we could just help young fathers or single fathers. It's these angles that we have, or we could do something that's like I told you, I think we should just, like, a lot of dads don't know what to do with their kids. Like I got a lot of dads that's like, not to say that they don't, not to say that they don't know what to do with their kids.
Yeah.
However, but from an entertainment standpoint, like, you know, I see dads that are co-parenting. Like, I got my kids this week, or I got the kids this weekend. What to do? Like, how many Chuck E. Cheeses can we go to? How many, you know, amusement parks can we do? Like, sometimes, you know, dads don't have the, like, I'm a plan out an agenda type of thing, right? So, like, I always say, like, you know, it would probably be cool that if we threw, like, annual events.
Yeah, so they all could come together, and that could be just a thing on their list, because then they'll find out about it, and it's like, you know, this is really dope. Not trying to say men can't plan it.
Yeah.
But it'll be a resource of some sorts, because then they'll be able to go here and there and get some type of entertainment for their kids, you know, to be entertained, or they'll also probably be entertaining themselves, probably be things there for the dads, you know what I'm saying? So that works out.
And
I'm excited to see the future for y'all.
Listen, it's exciting for us to, like, get back into it. Like, it's even like the pressure of being a man, right? The pressure of, like, providing, carrying all this weight to do all these things once you have your own family or you have your own offspring, right? It's this pressure to, like, every day I got to perform. Every day I'm Michael Jordan. Every day I got to go to this game 6, you know, game 7, it's time to show up. But, like, you don't realize, like, the man next to you going through feel the same way. So, like, you build this thing, and then you don't realize, like, when men with their children, that's probably the most softest version of that man you're going to get. Like, I can't be a super duper tough football player, 300-pound man, and I'm out here with Osa. She's 2 years old, and she's the cutest thing I ever seen walk with 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think, like, it's like, most guys are like that. They're soft with their daughters, and, you know, kids make a tough man bubbly. So, like, it's just, because we super macho, we handle everything internal. So, like, when I say I'm building this community, it's getting us to relate and connect and understand we all going through the same thing. We all viewing this kind of through the same lens. Our situations are not identical. Somebody might be blending the family. Somebody might be divorced. Somebody might be, you know, became a dad as a teenager, and we here to support you through that too. You know what I mean? It's not really the exact same, but a lot of it is very similar.
Very similar.
And the expectation of how society see you and what you're doing is very similar.
And to even just, thank you for that, and to even just implement that and be very vigilant on, be very focused on that, it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of power just to be like, you know, this is the cause, this is what I want to go ahead and, like, pursue, and this, I'm passionate about this. Yeah. And that takes a lot. That takes a lot, Lou.
I think my dad would be proud of it.
I think he would too.
Yeah, Dre said the same thing about his dad. His dad would probably be proud of this. Like, nobody thought this would be like a line of work or something that you feel like people are influenced by anything, so why not create something that's influencing something that's positive, you know? And that, like, you know, there are dads and men having these conversations. And we're not, like, super, we have plenty of women listeners that listen, like, which is interesting, right?
It's a very constructive way to see men, especially fathers, and also men who are not fathers, talk about their perspective on fatherhood, or even just
Right.
their relationship with their fathers, or other men. You know, a lot of the times I like to make sure, especially like black men, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Black men, there's this idea, of course, there's the stigma that, a lot of them don't express their feelings about certain relationships, or the relationships between black men are very simple and, all right, bro, I'll catch you later. All right, cool. You good? All right, cool. Rather than just indulging in the conversation of which they're human too as well. Y'all are human too as well. Y'all have feelings. Y'all empathize. Y'all sympathize. Y'all cry. Y'all get angry. Y'all get frustrated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just so much of just like taking the Superman cape off, taking the S off the chest, and being like, okay, this is a black man first, or a man in a sense who is either experiencing like relationship with other men, or like you do focus with Dre, fatherhood.
Right.
So it definitely brings a broader approach to just being inclusive to that, and making sure that everybody is like, oh, okay, we can actually have this authentic conversation with people. We can have this space where we talk about this because it's real.
Right.
It's real, other than the idea that people are just like, oh yeah, we know men are X, Y, and Z, or fatherhood is X, Y, and Z. Y'all give an outlet for people to like, be like, okay, well, I could talk about this with y'all. This is conversations that are not usually had, or maybe they are usually had, and it's kind of like, it's different. And like you said, it's not very much the clickbaitish, like, I don't want, some people like, I want to hear about what happened to Cardi B. Not like, what these black men are going through with their fatherhood, but then some people are. So that's maybe just exactly what a man who is a father, or who is expecting to be within fatherhood, or who have the idea of fatherhood, or who just likes a relationship with other men, that may just be just for them to listen to.
Right.
So it's very important.
Like you said, like what's next? Like that's a part of like scaling your show. Like, are we scaling our show for everybody in the population? No, but I do want it to resonate with who it's supposed to resonate with.
Right.
And I want it to be found and searchable for the people that are looking for this. So if you type in dad or more dad, I want us to be searchable.
It's like, oh, there you go.
Yeah, because that's what it's for. It's not always about, we have like these perceptions of like, it's all this money in podcasting, and like, everybody's making so much money in podcasting.
Who said that?
Right. It's a perception though. Like, cause it's like, cause once upon a time talking in front of the cameras, you could do that on television. So you had to be somebody to be on television. So now you podcast on your own. It's almost like TV to people. Like my kids think I'm on TV. If
Oh,
I'm
really?
You know what I mean? If I'm watching myself on YouTube and studying film of ourselves, like they think I'm daddy on TV.
Right. There you go on TV. Famous.
Man, it's so funny. And this how much you influence your kids. My son walk around the house like, yeah, man. What do you say? Daddy, I'm doing more than a kid, right? That's gonna be my show.
Oh, no way.
This is. I got Manny. Me and his mom got like a little kid camera for him and a green screen. Like, we'll see what comes of that.
Let's see what happens.
But you be influencing. Back to like scaling though. Like, I think my goal for it is, as long as people know where to find us when they in need of this, I'm fine with that. Yeah. If they need this type of talk, or you a dad experiencing something, because we talk about all types of stuff, like losing your job and providing, and are you like, what's more than just providing financially? What is these other things that the family needs? Like, do you got life insurance? Do you, if it was an apocalypse, could you feed us if we had to go fish and hunt? Like, we talk about,
Lord,
we get
the
there
important questions.
We get to a lot of it, because if you stand behind your 9 to 5 or however you get money, and then like all of a sudden currency don't matter, like what do you have to offer now, right?
Right.
I don't know. And then it's a mad gender wars too. Like,
oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I really try to stay, because this is one person on my like social media I had to mute, because all he did was post men versus women type of content. Like, as a woman, you're supposed to do X, Y, and Z, because if you don't, then the man's gonna, or as a man, he was more so on like the men's side, like, trying to, women need to do this, women should be doing this and stuff like that. I'm like, dog, you don't even make a woman feel comfortable. I know him personally. I'm like, you don't even make women feel comfortable even want to do these things. So I don't understand. But I had to, and there's other like social media outlets and stuff like that, and like people who post like, okay, y'all going 50-50 with your husband or your. I'm like, look, I am tired of this. I am muting it. It's such a big nonsense epidemic on social media, to be honest.
And usually the person that has the biggest opinion about these things has the least amount to offer.
Okay.
Right? So like the people that are taking these hard stands on like what a man does and what a woman does usually has the least amount to offer. Like the person that has everything to offer is kind of quiet and probably the most flexible partner.
Yeah, it's duality within that.
Right.
Yeah.
But, we got different ideologies. Like, in the parenting space, I'll be the first one to say, I try to be interchangeable with my wife, right? Like they say a good day is any day that you wake up above ground, right? So if you had a bad day, you ain't here no more. If my wife ain't here, I got to learn how to cut the crust off the sandwiches and pack the lunches. I got to learn how to slice the fruit. You know what I'm saying? I got to learn how to do these things. So from the very beginning, from when it was mixing formula and changing diapers, like I've been trying to be interchangeable with her from the jump. So now, but some men may not attack it like that. Oh, she's supposed to be doing that. Like, what woman that we meet and we date and we get with, we gonna sign her up to change 1 million diapers, Dolo? It's the oddities when it's terrible, right?
So it's a lot, but that's beautiful. I really do adore you and your wife's union. I do. I think y'all are a great match, great pair. Shout out to my other cousin.
We're not perfect.
Yeah, it's okay, but no, still, no one even said that. Yeah. But in the sense of just seeing the teamwork, that's important. That's very important. I appreciate you for that. Thank you. Thank you for letting me get in your business. I'm going to get into some more, but we're going to wait for that. So today's topic that I have you speaking on today with me is on discipline.
Okay.
Just structure and discipline, just your own perspective of that. What does it mean to you? I'm going to run down the ideas real quick. Don't answer just yet. What does it mean to you? The idea of how you started your journey on something specific, if you have anything specific that you've been disciplined on, the rewards, the grief, and the process of that, and just ultimately the outcome of having that specific type of discipline in place, and what has that taught you as you are who you are right now. So
go
ahead, we can dive into it. Let's get into it, Lou.
Jesus. So discipline, Lord. So discipline, like self-discipline and like stuff about yourself, right? All right.
Whatever discipline looks like to you.
Right. So when I think of discipline, I think of like at work we say it sits on the highest standards, right? Or like my dad had a military background, so it was like the discipline and the structure was there in the household.
Right.
I played sports. The discipline was on the field, showing up every day, and I strike people as the person that's like not the most talented in the room. Like even as
Why would you say that?
Just listen. Just listen. When we in the classroom, there's always a person who is smart, who normally has to work at their genius.
Okay.
And there's a person that has raw intelligence who like, why do you even know this answer to this question? Like, how were you already previously prepared? Right. So that's a person that has more intellectual talent than the other person. Okay. But both could get you across the finish line, right? Then you have people in the classroom who are like, maybe lazy or not interested, but still might have the ability to possess intellectual ability, right? But you just ain't teaching them the right way. They're not interested in your style or whatever the subject is. But I say all this to say, that's how I see my world, is like, how do you become successful as a young person? Like, what are you committed to in the process? And that's what takes discipline.
Okay.
So I know everybody is not the school route no more, right? I know that's not a popular thing, but the discipline to do the work, the discipline to stick it out. I never, even as a football player, I wasn't the best. I was show up every day, and the coach would say things like, you got better at one thing that's 5 things a week. You know what I mean? That's how many practices a year? That's 100 practices. You got better at 100 things. That stuff resonated with me because I wasn't the one with the University of Florida level talent.
Okay.
So it always, I'm walk on to scholarship. That showed my work.
But you still applied yourself to it.
Right.
Okay, I'm following you.
So that's what success look like to me, is you just chip at it every day. And that takes the discipline. When people talk about podcasters, like, can you get on the microphone? Can you talk? Can you entertain? Can you enlighten?
Can you do it?
Can you lead a community, right? And it's like, if you were to give me attributes like you was paying $2K, I may not have my sliders all the way at 99 in every category, but when it comes to like discipline, he gonna show up every day. Is he consistent? He dedicated to, he passionate about it. That's when my sliders are high.
Okay.
I might be at B level at different areas, but like in terms of the discipline that it takes to get there, there, that's where I'm at. So I'm the person that's going, we was buying a house, we're buying a house.
Okay, now.
All right.
Because you are.
Right, we are buying a house. But I'm the one that's doing the homework on Zillow. I'm the one with all the real estate buddies that's either do the physical blue collar work or the people doing like the agents and the home inspection.
Realtors,
yeah, I have both of them in my network. Right. You know, in my Lou network. So I'm calling, doing my homework on the market, and you know, that's what I was committed to. I was committed to getting our ass in the house.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that takes discipline. Or what you think, a house gonna fall on your lap? You think
it's not?
You think that,
and the market right now is a little something, but I feel as if the diligent work that you're doing,
right, and that's what this looks like. You know, like even like you putting in the work with Confession Corner, right? Mm-hmm. It takes step by step. You chipping away at it. Oh, you know, I like this setup. These clips resonated more. That's you're showing up every day. Yeah. That's the discipline. You know, I think people shy away from. I got friends like this. I say they're afraid to be successful, and I say that because they're not committed or dedicated or disciplined to the process of what success look like. A lot of people just want the
success and the outcome and stuff like that. Do you think that people become comfortable with just like talking about certain things and just not putting in the work, or do you think they really are?
People don't like the work. We in a generation now where like people don't really identify as like wanting to work hard, or like I want to work smarter, not harder, and I want to live passively. And I think all that stuff is great, but at some point you're going to have to be an expert in something, which is going to take work, or you're going to have to be hard working, which takes work. So you really, so it all takes work. You can't really skip work. There's no real shortcuts unless somebody can provide you resources that skip you to the front of the line.
Right.
You know what I mean? You make a name for yourself to get promoted, to get promoted at work. You got to make a name for yourself. How do you make a name for yourself?
You better start
work
working.
hard.
Yeah,
work
you
hard.
Come on time. You better get your tasks done, and just be interpersonal to a degree and just keep at it. Like you said, showing up consistently. I think for me, discipline is very similar. Just making sure that I'm showing up. Consistency is key for me.
Yes.
Consistency, making sure that I'm not only showing up for myself, but for what I said that I wanted to do.
Right.
I never want to, that's one of my, I don't try to be so perfect. I'm trying to get out of the mentality of being this perfect woman, but I definitely am hard on myself. Well, just giving myself grace in the same breath, but very hard on myself when it comes to doing something that I said I was going to do. Because my thing is, I don't want to say, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this. And things can change. Like, if I was like, oh, yeah, I want to start a podcast, like, I very much could change my mind. But I was very serious about it. And I was like, you know what? If I am to do this, I need to actually put in the work to do it. I need to do the research. I need to come up with the concept. I need to come up with the theme. I need to make sure that I have the right people around me to actually input that or to pour into me. But just making sure that I diligently come up and I'm like, okay, I need to show up for myself because I said that I wanted to do this. Right. And I would hate for somebody to see me in the next 4 months. Yeah, how's that idea of the podcast and stuff? I'm like, I don't like that personally, unless I feel comfortable enough to change the idea and be like, yeah, I just don't want to do that no more. But I definitely think that showing up for myself and making sure I'm true to my word is very important. And it kind of influences my discipline because I'm like, I mean business. And when I mean business, I mean business.
You know what's interesting about what you said about like people checking up on you on the podcast and stuff like that? Because you are a version of a content creator having a podcast platform, it's public. It's I'm doing this and everybody knows I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Whereas though people have hobbies and they fail at it all the time. Like somebody might call themselves an artist or they're building a clothing brand in a house and they screen printing and it's failing, but since it's not public and not posted
one knows about
every Friday at 8 a.m., you don't know if it's failing. If there's nobody to check your sales, like you can go check my YouTube views. Like it's just a different level of like you out there, right? Like it's when you decide to create content, you're out there. You're whether you're giving all of yourself, but you're putting the mark of your success out there to be judged and stuff. People who start things, I got people who paint and do commission pieces. They might charge one person $600, but they may not get another painting for another 3 months. Now, are you a successful painter?
Depends on what they believe success is. or whatever that looks
but
like for
it's
them.
not under the same microscope as your YouTube channel is.
It's not.
It's not the same. It's not under the same microscope as how many followers you got on Instagram or TikTok. It's just not judged the same way. People know how to do amazing thing with woods and like repurpose and refinish furniture, but it's just not under the same microscope when they're trying to entertain and do content. It's just not. You could write books and not sell 10 books, but nobody's gonna be like, yo, my friend book flopped.
Right.
But they'll be quick to be like, you only got 50 views, because nobody book sales is posted anywhere.
No one could research that unless they're New York's bestseller, and every book is New York's bestseller. Like, I be seeing that on the staples on all books.
You know who else I could get out of here? These personal trainers. Get their asses right out of here too.
Look.
Listen, how many clients you really got? How much of this is, do you still have to work, or is this work now?
Yeah, is this work?
You know, and I respect the hustle and the grind, but like I said, once again,
People like to see
your
results.
clients are not. Your client list is not posted nowhere. I go get my hair cut. I don't really know how many people my barber cut. I can assume, because it's hard as hell to get to the nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But how many people he really cut? Is he really successful at this or not? You don't really know. But like I said, once you're a podcaster and once you kind of living in this content space, all your numbers are here to be evaluated. How many likes you got, how much people engaging with your stuff, and it's a whole different metrics, you know. I kind of want to go to explore that side now too. Let me
now you got an idea in your head.
Let me start writing a script that nobody know about, and then if one of them blow, it's like, yo, I've been doing this. Like, what y'all talking about? I've been writing since 2023.
Right.
Like,
What is that? No, for real. Is there anything specific that you feel as if right now, or maybe the last 6 months, that you really applied yourself to be disciplined to? Whether it was like a health goal, personal goal, professional goal.
I'm working at all that stuff, so that's sick. No, I think I do. You know, and I got a friend that always say, don't wait till the new year to, like, you know, start you know, your resolutions and all that. So like, I always want to be a better version of myself, and I'm not really mirroring that off of like a living human being. Like, the man I want to be is like 16 different guys fused together.
Oh boy.
You know, I want this from my father. I want this from one of my professors. I want this from this famous person. I want, you know, you put together this makeshift man. Like, I wish I want a piece of all these things to work at. So like, yeah, I'm trying to get healthy. I'm a big boy, you know, but I'm at that age where like diabetes is around the corner. Right. You know what I mean? You see more people dropping, have heart attacks than ever. You know, it's hard to be like we got a phone that'll tell you like, yo, all these things cause cancer. But this is something that we eat every day. Like, people eating Skittles and drinking Gatorades and all these things that are not, they don't even sell these things in other countries. Yeah. You know what I mean? Would you even indulge so like, and my wife has a big influence on me from a health, spiritual standpoint. But like, I be trying to be like better to her. I be trying to be better to the kids. I get angry. I know I'm more than a dad and all that, but listen, I'm just like anybody else. Too many daddy. What? You know what I mean? Like, right. It's no longer like this peaceful, I'm superhuman, you know what I mean? So, you know, you be annoyed, right? So like, I'm personally have been working at a lot of things, but we recently went through a situation with my daughter being in the hospital for 30 days. She had an autoimmune disorder come over her and like give her like temporary paralysis. She spent like a weekend on a ventilator. And in that time, the discipline to like only focus on my daughter. You know, meanwhile, we're trying to buy a house. I'm pushing for a work promotion. Right. I'm trying to keep a podcast going, and I'm trying to appear this strong man that ain't got nothing going on. But the only thing that kept me strong was just zero in and focus on this little girl. I need this little girl to make full recovery, which she did. Yeah, she did. And that was like how I zeroed my end. Because, you know, you have to get tunnel vision. You know, like a person like me, I want to make it in corporate. I want to make it creatively. I want to make it like entrepreneurially too, just because I think I have the capacity to do that. And you do. Right. But everybody can. Everybody might have this one talent. I actually think I have fair amount of talent in each category. But in a time like that, that was a time when I needed to like zero it in, scale it back. How many podcasts can I previously record and, you know, put them on autopilot? How much work can I just make up at nighttime? Because I'm not doing the work in the day.
No, you're not.
I'm not focused. I'm in the hospital trying to listen to work calls, but like make sure my daughter know I'm here with her. Whole different level of like engagement. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that was one thing I say I really zeroed in the last 6 months. That was in like April, May. But she spent 30 days there, man, full recovery. It was came out of nowhere. She don't have no birth defects or healthy baby. It's like the first time she ever was sick, and it was that serious.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was crazy.
Throughout that process, I appreciate you sharing that though. I know for real, because that takes some real like reflection for real.
Right.
And did you have anybody during that time of you zeroing or, just putting focus on? Also, did you have anybody to be a mentor of some sort or a beacon of guidance? That's especially a man. Did you have anybody to go to talk to that you was able to relate to, or that was relatable within that situation of just focusing in and making sure that she was good?
I had a lot of like other dads reach out to me at the time, and everybody was extremely helpful. It's sorry if I haven't gotten back to you or all that stuff, but the reality is I had my friend Blackie Chad who reached out to me and was just talking to me a lot about hospital life and like being at hospital long term.
Right.
He had lost a child in the hospital. She had a premature baby, like I don't know how many years ago. It was a long time ago, but he was just warning me of like how to deal with the nurses and how to deal with the people in there. I also had another friend, T-Bart. T-Bart always checked on me, and one thing me and T-Bart laughed about recently was that like I never Googled my daughter's like condition,
right?
Because I didn't want to get like
Mayo Clinic. Oh my God, how long does it?
So there was a night where like her breathing got real bad, and they said like her lungs were like breathing out of beat, off beat, and they put her on a ventilator, like they sedated her, put her to sleep. And I had to go look at my baby girl, like practically lifeless for a weekend, which is like the craziest thing as a parent, right? Because when you think of like breathing machines and stuff, you don't think like they're gonna ever be able to breathe by themselves,
right?
And,
it's so scary. It's like what?
Right. It was like so surreal, and it happened so fast. But I said that to say T-Bart was like, he was just be calling me. He was like, "You so calm," and I'd be like. And then we finally laughed about it recently. He was like, "Bro, when I was calling you, I was trying to figure out why you were so calm." I was like, "Cause I never looked up her condition." One of the nurse practitioners was like, "Yo, this is gonna be a real scary time. Google is a parent's worst nightmare. Let us do our job. You're one of the best hospitals in the world, Children's Hospital. Shout out, y'all." He was just like, "Don't Google." He was just don't Google it. We gonna take care of this, and that calmed me in that time. Granted, I never seen that nurse practitioner other than that night, right. But I listened to him, and it helped me do her recovery. I never broke in her recovery. I actually broke once she got to like her birthday, and she was out of the hospital and she was good.
Yeah, it was all right.
It was kind of like
we're good now.
Yeah,
we're good.
It was
not
like
just.
I tell my wife sometimes I get emotional in reflection of it more than when I was going through it, just because I had to be what I had to be during the time, So. That was the one time, and like everybody was helpful. Like our jobs were super understanding. I actually
That's beautiful.
I have a production executive at my job that was he had the condition when he was little, so he would talk to me about like long-term effects. Like some of the questions I had about like, is she gonna be able to have a normal childhood? It's like I'm gonna be able to sign my daughter up for soccer in a year, things like that. Like because you talking about permanent paralysis and nerve damage, and these are the things
And it's so scary. It's so scary not to cut you off, but it's so scary to even have that idea, and especially when the beginning of her birth in the early childhood is like, okay, everything's cool, calm and collected, boom. Then here we are hit with this. Now your whole trajectory's changed. Everything is changed. And it can be changed, but at the same time, there's hope for different like possibilities and everything of that nature. But just having the idea that it's possible that this can happen is scary enough.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very scary.
Parents end up in the ER all the time, but you never think, like we were taking her we took her to the ER because we thought she had like the flu or something. And then it was like, all right, 2 days into the flu or the croup cough that she was having, it was like, yo, she can't walk, right?
What you mean?
We came here for respiratory issues. What you mean she can't walk?
Right.
And it just like it escalated so fast to like this very severe thing, even that we went to one hospital, got transferred to another hospital because we needed the neurological specialist that was at the better hospital.
Right.
But You know, they would come in and do things like test her for reflexes in her legs, and her legs wouldn't have reflexes. So it was like scary to kind of watch.
Yeah.
It was scary to watch, and I shout out my friends and my, all my close friends that's in the group chat, the family that was there, my aunts and them that stepped up and helped watch Manny. But the hardest to me, one of the hardest things that was also hard was that like, me and my wife was like, she probably did like maybe the first week and a half, like she was the one staying with our daughter, which I appreciate her taking the lead on.
Yeah, fully.
But the first night that I stayed was when everything went to shit.
Oh my God. I've been like, what is happening? And it would happen, not to laugh about it, but it would happen when you gotta be in there and present.
I think that's God putting I'm not sure if she was sleeping with my daughter and they monitoring her, and if 16 people went in here and they had to fish a tube down her throat and do spinal taps, and we're gonna sedate her because her breathing is we don't want her lungs to give out because she working too hard to breathe in her sleep. Like I don't know if my wife could have watched that.
Yeah,
but
she was there.
But I think that's why you gotta be spiritual a little bit. Like I think God put the right person there that I watched it, and I was the messenger to my wife to keep her calm. But like shout out to everybody.
Shout out to all y'all.
Because it was a lot of people that helped that thing together.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate you disclosing that, Lou. I'm glad she is up and doing her thing. She looks beautiful as always, full of life and everything. And so with that, you talking about that particular situation, was there ever a time when you had to? You can talk about this one, or you can relate it to any situation where you felt as if, like, the process of starting to become focused or disciplined to put in the work and stuff like that, how was that? Like, was it hard? Was it easy? Was it something that you were able to, like, flow into, or was it kind of like a little stubbornness along with that?
Normally, when it comes to, like, discipline and, like, trying to commit to doing something, I have to walk myself into it. Mm-hmm. I have to, like, do my risk rewards. I have to
the pro and cons.
I have to do all that. I have to assess, like, because I look at myself as time and I look at myself as energy. Mm-hmm. So it's like, how much time is this going to take to commit to, like, for example, like creating more than a dad. Like, all right, I learned the lesson. I did another show and I used to film every Saturday for like 3 hours. Mm-hmm. One, I felt like we were shooting too long and our viewers wasn't staying for the whole show.
Right.
But I also think going every single Saturday's like the main family day. So I would go like 17, 18, 19 Saturdays in a row, and it would be hard on my team because they're missing Saturdays with their family just as well as I am.
Right.
So, for example, when I wanted to start More Than a Dad, it's like, how can I do this and not have as much burden on the family and not get so much backlash? So like this is when it's like
you gotta review risk reward, pros and cons.
So we making this show and I'm like, all right, well, it's not really current event based, so it doesn't matter if it's previously recorded or not. Mm-hmm. And then I found places where we can go shoot for like 5 hours and get like 3 or 4 shows out of every 30 minutes, just bringing this to show. We would come and show up and change clothes and do our whole thing.
Right, okay.
Not to give our sauce away, but if you in this space, you got to know that the person that's on the camera
probably is doing this, or
how many wardrobe changes they prepared to take, because it's essentially like a job, but like that's what I'm talking about, like assessing, like how can I do more than a dad and have the least amount of energy taken from what it needs to focus on, which is my family or my job that's paying me, and the time away. So for a while, like we will only take that 4 hours a month and come back with at least 4 or 5 shows.
Okay.
So like it's like, to me, it's assessing what you're about to do. Like even like when I'm about to get back in the gym, or like I'm about to cut out carbs. It's like assessing, like,
okay, how do I do
like,
this?
Like, what am I going to eat as a substitute? Because like carbs is what make you not feel hungry to me. I don't know if anybody else feel the same way.
I'm not educated too much on carbs because I eat pretty clean, but nothing too like heavy.
I'm light. I'm lower on carbs right now. I'm supposed to be low. I've been crazy since my birthday, but we've been doing too much. But like I was trying to do like low to no carbs, right, and like almost no sugar, right. So I was having to think like, yo, what is doing your homework? Like, what am I going to like substitute to eat? Because like,
what's the game plan? What's the blueprint here? Because I was going to ask, like, what do you do when you first be like, all right, this is something I want, cool. We had the pros and cons. All right, cool. That's that. What else? And now we have to assess the situation for what could be best for us, what's going to work out. And especially, I know, like, going backwards a little bit. I've had times where, like, I've went backwards and I was like, yeah, nah, this ain't gonna be it. This sucks. I think one of the times was when and I'm currently now getting back into it. Hopefully by November we will see the results. But I am studying for my licensed master social work for that, and just preparing for the test. I took the test probably a couple of times already, and the last time I took it, I'm 4 points away, and I was like, oh my God, like this is blowing me. I don't want to, I feel a little defeated in that. Of course, fellow social workers and mental health practitioners and people who have to get licensed have to take a specific type of test.
Right.
And usually sometimes people don't score it on the first time or they don't pass it on the first time. And it's disheartening. It's like, oh my God, am I not a good social worker? This is not the field that I need to be in, or psychologist or mental health assistant or advocate. And I think for me, when I decided to get back into it, the discipline was like, I need to put my head down and get right to it. Like for me, I have to like jump into it, because if I don't, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna figure this shit out later on. We just got to do this right now. Like I'm gonna figure it out later on. Let's just start it right now while I'm in the process of just getting things ready, because I know what to do. You know what I'm saying? If for something that is freaking. When the first time I took it, I didn't know what to do with resources, but as me taking it again or preparing for it again, I'm like, okay, no, I know what to do now. Because I'm tired of not having 4 letters behind my name or anything like that. I have 3. I need 4 though. I need it. And specifically for the persistent goal of me opening my own practice. So I would have to get my LMSW, then get my LCs, then hopefully get some supervision with the hopes of just opening up my own mental health practice for myself. And like that's the most focused tunnel vision thing I'm working on right now. So anything else, like, not trying to say I neglect relationships. I don't neglect, supporting people, but it's going to come down to a specific type of minimum with it, because now I need to focus.
Listen, I am not that person. I'll tell everybody, I am not the person that's like, yo, just do it. I'm not Nike.
Oh my God.
I'm not Nike. I'm not that. I'm much so like, you gotta, you only know you. Right, like, listen, I like to eat. I ain't this big by accident. Like, you tell me, like, you telling no potatoes, no French fries. Like, you telling me
nothing.
Like, what are we, like, what's gonna go with the protein?
Right? Like, am I gonna get like beans, maybe?
Beans I gotta
something.
talk about it.
No, I gotta and that's you. And I think that a lot of people need to figure that out.
For example, like, I work with attorneys all day, right? And everybody's always like, they think the world of me, and I work hard for them. So hopefully that continues to be the same.
Absolutely.
It's always like, you should just go to law school, and I'll be assessing, like, 34 years old, family of 4, 2 kids under the age of 5, law school where?
Right. How does that fit in?
And I'd be like, I haven't made a dent in the student loans I got already.
Right.
And it's like to me, I don't think it's realistic. So I have to have,
you have to have something that's like in the game plan, because if it don't make no sense, it's not gonna make no sense.
I just can't do it, like, because I could just be hyped up, like, yo, they think you got negotiating skills. You might be a great attorney, and then like, all right, cool. I would love to be a lawyer. I would love to be Lou the lawyer.
I think that would be nice on you.
Yeah, I think I would, nice, and I think I do think I am young enough to do them things. However, I got a kid in kindergarten and a kid in daycare.
Right.
Like, and my wife is also trying to finish up being a nurse. So it's not really the ball isn't really rolling to me in these years right now. And then now if we reassess this at 38, do I want to go to school to be a lawyer at 38? Do I have the same potential and all this upside?
Yeah.
So, and it's a decision I'm, wrestling back and forth, because I never worked at places where I wasn't good enough or educated enough to be the positions above me, right? So you start like putting yourself in, they call it pigeonholing yourself. Like, I never was the pigeonhole dude. Like, I was never the guy that, like, I only can do this one skill set. Like, no, like, in football, like, I played all 5 on the offensive line. I wasn't just a left guard. No, I could put my right hand down, left hand down. I could snap the ball. I could get out here with the more athletic guys in space. Like, it was just, that's how I always just looked at life. I just wanted to be more versatile than
Do you
that.
think that works out for you the way that, and I'm pretty sure it does, but I'm just, wanting to dive more into it. Do you feel as if the way that you discipline yourself for a task or for your passion or for a goal, do you think that works in your best of favor, or have you been wanting to, like, change that style up?
I don't think, all right, sorry to parent out your pod.
Go
I
ahead.
think at 23, 4, 5, 6, no kids, you could be gun-ho. I think it's just, I'm going to just crack down to do this. I'm going to crack down to get my real estate license. You just do it. Versus, like, when you got to think about other people. And it's crazy, before I had kids, I was taking care of my mom. My mom, older, dialysis 3 times a week, up at 5 in the morning. It's, when you got responsibilities, you start moving different. You know what I mean? You move different. It has to be more calculated. And that's not to scare nobody away that's still in a gun-ho phase.
Yeah.
You have to be more calculated as you gain responsibilities, and it all come in age. Whether you at your mom's crib and now you got an apartment, you got your own house, or maybe you doing the what they doing right now, the duplex splits, and it's all these things make you move different. Like, you can't be risking it all, or like you talking about school. Imagine you was trying to work 2 jobs and go to school, but like school taking up so much of your time, you lacking at both your jobs. Right. So now you gotta calculate, like,
what makes sense.
I gotta drop the second one, but now I can't, like, afford to, like, go out, or I can't afford my new car. It just changes your dynamic. So, like, these are the things that we never talk about in our households, right? Growing up, and how we spend money in our time, and how to, like, we were talking on our show, nobody taught us about credit. Nobody taught us about how to buy a house. Nobody taught you about why debt-to-income ratio actually matters. Right. So, like, you have to, like, sometimes be more calculated, and people like us don't tend to always dive into the homework and figure that out.
That because we just like, well, all right, well, I'm good as long as I got a roof over my head, and that's pretty much it. But that's not the case.
How many times I ended up at a car dealership buying a car just because I don't, like, my car broke, I just gonna go, instead of, like, I'm gonna wait. Like, raise your hand if you actually save for a car in the perfect time, under the perfect circumstances, with this cozy cushion. I've been to the last 4 times I've been to the car dealership, they were all in desperate times. Now ask me, did I get the best rates? Did I get the best? It was under the best circumstances. Like, how much thousands of dollars he made selling me the car because I just bought what I could get. Like, it's just, we all don't come from those circumstances. Shout outs to Auntie. You come from a good house.
I did that because
shout outs to Auntie and everybody.
Her and my father, they did a very good job at making sure, like, you need to make, especially with money. They was very, not trying to say, like, you need money, but to manage it correctly, you need to make sure you're about your business. You need that. My mother said you need to have your own, and my dad told me you don't need to owe back nobody nothing. Try not to, as much as you can, owe back nobody nothing but love. And I think with my car situation, because at the time it was during COVID, I was going to either move into my own apartment or get my own car. And I had the money saved up for it just from previously, working. I was in grad school at the time, but grad school had finished because, everything went remote, kind of sort of moving into that type of atmosphere. But I remember really trying to figure it out, because my dad was like, we could go to the auction. And I was like, I don't want to do that. That's just me, because I didn't want to put no more money into something that if it broke down and now I got to, like, go ahead. Not trying to say cars from the auction are not good, but for me personally, that was not my preference. Right. And then my mother, she was busy building up her own brand, her personal training business, but at the same time, like, not trying to say she didn't have the time for it, but relatively she didn't have the time for it to be like, all right, let's go to the dealership, let's go do that. And I kind of told her, like, I want a car. She was like, all right, well, whenever you do it. Shout out to her for giving me the spirit of ambition, but at the same time, she was just like, yeah, all right, well, if you get a car, you get a car. Like, let me know what you want to do. And I felt as if, like, ain't nobody taking me serious. I'm about to go ahead and do this research. And for 2 weeks, I did research on, I ain't know nothing about no mileage. Like, how many miles I got? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I ain't know nothing. I didn't even know how to really drive. But that's a different I didn't. I had to teach myself, like, it was very much thing where I had to teach myself how to drive. Not trying to say my mother and my father never exposed me to that, but not as frequent as I could go down to the store, go get something, come back comfortably. Like I'm like, I don't know, like, but I did 2 weeks of research. I was on it. Like I took 2-3 hours each day throughout the week. Throughout those 2 weeks, doing research on mileage, doing research on the parts, doing research why do I need to get my oil changed every 3 months? Why do I need to change the air filters? What happens if the antifreeze run out? What can I do? What type of cars are best or more sufficient within these years? You know, last cars had recalls. You know what I'm saying? What models? I did that for 2 weeks. And then there's a Toyota dealership up the street from my house and stuff like that. And I went up there and I had talked them down from giving me like $17,000, I think, to like $14,000 car, negotiating. I had little to no interest in Aunt Gina had looked at my paperwork because I had drove the car down to the house. And I was scared 'cause I know how to drive. And I was like, oh, this is going to be my car, Mom. She was like, oh, that's nice. You know, I don't think she really knew I was serious. Or maybe she did. But then I drove back up there, did the paperwork, did the negotiating as much as I knew. And I did good.
Right.
And I came back home, drove home, and I was like, Mom was like, oh, so you got the car? I was like, yeah. And Aunt Gina was at the house. She was like, you really got a car? I was like, yeah. Mom was like, how you didn't tell me? I said, I did. And then my Aunt Gina, who's really into cars, she had looked over the paperwork, looked at the interest, looked at everything like that. She said, oh, you did good. I was like, I know.
I mean, that's you know how much of an outlier you are for a situation like that? Like, young people normally are, who don't have a parent or somebody giving them the money or walking them into a dealership, they the ones that get hit over the head with the, you know, even when you might buy something that don't work, somebody finessed you, they didn't change, you know, you could change the mileage on the dashboard. You know, it just speaks to like, we gotta, I guess the theme for the discipline is gonna be like, you just gotta assess and do your homework. Right. And it's a part of the process. Like I said, I done been to the dealer 3-4 times just in desperation. Like, I need wheels when I leave. Like, I don't care if I gotta sit 4 hours. Like, I need to leave in a car.
When I need to leave.
You know, and then things break down on you, and your credit not in the best form, or there's all these different things. Like I was talking to Dre one day. He was like, you don't realize you could go to the bank and get a loan for your car and then bring the check to the dealership. You ain't gotta take the funding they find for your car. And then you don't realize, like this all goes into like adulting. Like, I try to use cars as it because everybody ain't been through childbirth and all that. A lot of us probably have a car by now, right? But how did you get your car? Under the situation you was under, the discipline, did you research? Was it what was best available? Because now this all changes the situation. How much money you really had, how much you really was approved for, it all changes the situation. So just assessing the situation before you decide to commit and be disciplined in something is important. You know, like, I can't do law school right now. I can't cut cars right now neither. Labor Day coming up, that cookout gonna be fire.
No, that's lit. So out of doing that, in the process of being disciplined, were there any type of griefs that you've experienced with achieving a specific type of goal? Or were there any things that you wish that you could go back to? Like, man, I miss being able to do X, Y, and Z, but since you had to put those specific things away to achieve said goal, how did that make you feel? Did you have a grieving type of process, or have you ever reflected back on it?
You know what's so interesting that you asked me this question? I feel like all of my major successes in life came at a cost. Okay. And not like, you know, like some 50 Cent, like I had to get shot 9 times.
Lord have mercy.
You know, not like that. But like, I could give you so many examples. I graduated undergrad, but I lost my dad. I finished my master's, my mom's house burned down. You know, I got promoted this year, but my daughter had to go through GBS. Like, there's so many examples in my life where, you know what it keeps me? Even kill. It keeps me at this even, not too high, not too low type of, you know, a lot of things can affect me, especially in front of people. It can't really, it just don't get me. But a lot of things come at a cost. Okay. You know, and that's kind of where I stand at on a subject like that. Like, you don't even realize that you're paying them prices. Yeah. You know, I got the $100,000 job, but you don't realize you don't spend no time with your kids. Yeah. You know, you got the job, so you feel like you're earning, but now you're not the dad you want to be. Or
even in the sense of just going after, like I said about my test, I know I'm not about to be outside as much as I have been, or can't be on the phone as much as I have been, because I like to talk to my friends. I like to set aside social time for myself. and I know that I'm taking 2-3 hours to study each and every other day, and I know I'm not gonna be able to talk on these phone conversations, which I would really love to do because I love talking to my girls and my guys. But at the same time, I feel as if you're right. There does come a cost when you are focusing in and being more disciplined, because it's like, damn, I kind of miss certain things. At the same time, I know once I achieve it, I could either, depending on what it is, I could either go back to it or I could just modify it in a sense. Maybe I don't talk as much on the phone, or maybe I still could, but not for the like same amount of time and stuff like that once I achieve and get my license, because I'm going to be more busy, because I'm going to have clients. I'm going to be more into my career. You know what I'm saying? So that
You got to think about it like this. Success is reserved for the elite. The people who are willing to sacrifice, to people who are willing to be committed and disciplined in things, it is reserved for those people. When they talk about it's lonely at the top, that's what they're referring to. Everybody want to be successful, but everybody not really willing to go through the sacrifices. So I sat here and told you like flat out, I'm not giving them these cards right now. I'm not going to be successful at losing the 30 pounds I want to lose. Right?
Not yet.
Not yet. Just as an example though, but like, it's like that with every, you got to think about it, like, you got a license you're trying to achieve. Somebody got a degree they're trying to achieve. Somebody got, they're trying to own a certain amount of real estate. These things take the sacrifices.
Yeah.
You know, they take the sacrifices that you got to be willing to pay. And everybody's not willing to pay, and that's why everybody don't have these things. So you see, the internet makes it seem like everybody can be a real estate mogul. Everybody can be a size 6 or 5'5" or whatever.
But
you
gotta
know,
give up a lot of things.
you gotta give. People are not, the average person is not willing to give up these things, which speaks to the discipline. They're not willing to sacrifice or be disciplined.
Yeah.
You know, you see a nice car, you see the all the rappers got the Lambos and the Ferraris, but they slave on tour for that car.
Yeah.
You might had a deaf in the family, but I gotta go out here and perform in front of 15,000 and give them that energy that they paid for with that ticket. Yeah. You see Beyonce.
It's
Beyonce look the same every show.
Child,
you don't think she had big days? What is she on her cycle?
Right.
You can't tell. She just went up there and did 50 songs in front of a stadium full of people.
Right. I should have been there when she came here. I was supposed to go. I wasn't supposed to go, but like, Vonna had worked the event,
Reserved
and I
for
was
the
like,
elite, she the elite.
But no, that I like the way that you said that is reserved for the elite,
It's
because in
reserved for
order
the
for
elite.
you to even achieve this, you have to be able to give up specific things, and that does come with a grieving process, because sometimes I miss certain things, but at the same time, what is it? What am I willing to give up? What is it going to take? And have you ever felt as if the rewards really? Where do you feel that the rewards were worth it?
I don't know. I haven't lived a life. I haven't lived a life without the reward, so I can't.
Now.
So I can't speak to like what it would be like. But I'm just committed to something, and I want to accomplish it. I'm very goal oriented.
Yeah.
You know, like I get bored. You know, like I get bored. You know, I get bored like anybody else, and I'll just be open about my boredom. I'll be bored, right? I'll be looking for things to learn. I didn't realize the other day, like I was like, I'm a lifetime student. Like I like learning stuff. I researched how to take care of chickens for 6 months because I thought.
Oh wow, you went on a Vine?
Because
It's giving Uncle Leroy. Hold on, it's giving Leroy King.
It's giving Mobley Compound.
Yeah, okay,
you know what I'm saying?
hello.
Zombie apocalypse. No, I'm joking. But like that's how much I realized. Like I just like learning. Like I like learning stuff. Like I sit here and listen to people how different people make their money, maybe in real estate, or they went and learned a small trade, and now the trade worth a whole bunch of money.
Yeah,
you know, it's like people. I like
things.
learning, so I can't sit here and get bored. I gotta set goals for myself. It's a level of success and trying to be elite that I'm always functioning at. I'm not a slacker. Like they say at work, I insist on a higher standard every day I wake up. Like I insist on being like.
That's admirable.
But I tell my wife all the time, you don't think it's days I just want to chill, kick back, just do nothing?
Yeah.
Like, do you earn them days? Probably, but I don't take them. You know.
You need to give yourself some ease, though. You need to give yourself some ease and some grace.
But what have we? What? All right. So I have this. Maybe we can have this little bit of conversation. I had a conversation on my podcast about like needle movers in your family. Like everybody in your family isn't a person that's moving generational wealth for your family, or like putting your family on the map, or just reversing some of the curses. Look how many curses I'm trying to reverse. I'm trying to, the father in the house, keeping the family together, successful career-wise, financially smarter. You are trying to reverse things that you don't even know or was limitations for your family. Like, I look at myself in my family, whether it's a Mobley side or my mom's gang side, I'm a needle mover. Now, my kids may not be needle movers, but they kids may be. Or maybe they kids are not, and then we like 3 generations away.
Right.
Like, you might be moving the needle, you and your sister might move the needle, but the next needle mover for your family might come from your kids' kids.
Yeah, kids.
So
do you feel as if, with that being said,
it's a fake pressure that I put on myself.
I was gonna say, so is that some pressure that you're just applying to yourself, or do you feel like it's very real? Because, not trying to say that you cannot be, and this is not dismissing the fact of the ambition that you have, but also addressing the grace that also could come with that, because there's a duality in things. And I'm very, in my womanhood and walking in within this, I express it a lot. There's perfect timing for two things. Two things can coexist. And even though that you are very goal-oriented, and I am proud that you are doing this and you are seeing this ambition in yourself, also understand just as much as just as above as below, as much as you have this high, consistent, this pressure that you put on yourself, understand that there is an equal amount of grace that you deserve to receive.
You want to know what my greatest fear is?
What is your greatest fear?
It go with this. Is my not meeting my potential.
Okay.
Right. So, like, if out of all my friends, I grew up in a house with 2 parents. I was an honor student, like K through 12. Yeah. I went to college. I made it playing football. Got the scholarship. As long as my potential is crossing over, I feel successful. Okay. Right. Now, imagine having LeBron talent, but being Delonte West.
Ooh.
You think what I'm saying? That's
I know I don't watch basketball too often, but I know who they are.
Right. That's how I look at it. It's like, if my mom only had 2 sons, and shout out to my brother who's also doing well for himself, but it's not guaranteed. You know what I mean? Like Jay said on the show, you might have a kid that has an addiction or commit suicide, or we gotta acknowledge the real world outside. There is no guarantee how many LeBron babies you about to have. Like LeBron kids may not be LeBron. Do you think what I'm saying? Like, the next LeBron may not even be in the James last name.
But then that's also the beauty of, and that's facts. But
right.
Then
So
also
you wanna,
understanding the beauty
you want to take
of
care
that.
of. You want to. If you're him, you go be him.
Yeah, but
right?
Also understand you need, for that to reach a certain potential, or for you to exceed that, you are going to have to need that equal amount of rest and grace.
Right.
And you deserve it. And don't think that, oh, I'm not doing that, because at the same time, if you're not able to reach that, or let's just say you're consistently going for that, and then God forbid, you get burned out. And it's like, what could I have done to prevent this? Now you take as many steps as you want to go forward, you have to take a whole 50 steps back, and it's like, damn, what could I have done to prevent this? And it's like, oh, I should have, in the sense, just come to terms with understanding that as much as I've worked hard, I could go ahead and give myself that grace, give myself whatever that looks like for you, and whatever that is.
I have more of that today. Okay. I didn't have that in my 20s. In my 20s, it was, how do I get into this field? What is it going to take to get into this field? All right, I'm going to knock on all their door. I'm going to make friends with all of them. So I'm going to know people in the building. So when I apply to the jobs, I can be like, I know Troy upstairs. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It took a level of grind and, like, relentlessness and, like, willing to exhaust yourself to get in the game. Now that I'm in the game, of course, now
you could be like, whew, okay.
Yeah, like now it's like, cause now my biggest thing is now, like I told you, I live like a retired person being remote, right? I'm enjoying my time now, but I had to put in 10 years of work in to even have this comfortable lifestyle where I'm cool with the paper I make. I'm cool with my work-life balance. So now I ain't got to work doubles to make the bread I make my the money I want to make, or the good money that I'm proud to be making, at 8 hours a day like a normal person. I'm home with my kids. I have more grace for myself today than I did at 26 when it was like, I'm working 3 jobs and I'm coaching and I'm in, and I'm in grad school online, and and it was just this it was a race to get in the game. Sometimes I think my wife is Haitian, so she always talk about like the different cultures of people, and like we go to like say for like an Asian restaurant, and like they got their kids working there, but their kids ain't doing what my kids will be doing. My kids will be on Peppa Pig. They kids be like doing math and like they getting after it, and we have so much of a work and play attitude in our culture, like just versus like sometimes you just gotta you're not escaping the work. If you want to be who you say you want to be, and I think this is why we don't have people as many that doctors, lawyers that look like us, because it's a commitment to a long road. People are deterred by the duration of it.
Okay.
Right, so like, you have to be comfortable with working hard to accomplish stuff.
Right, and I do believe, I'm sorry,
Good.
I do believe that is possible, but at the same time, you have to understand the demographic that was passed down, or the curse that was passed down from slavery. Like, we have to work, we have to be this. And that's not dismissing the fact that I do believe we do have some work to do as a people to make sure that we have to show up in a certain way, but at the same time, we deserve that grace because there are generations and generations of us. Like, you got to be the best, you got to be the best, and that's
I'm racing against that too.
Yeah, that's.
I'm racing against
it's
that
not.
too.
It's not impossible. At the same time, understand that we deserve that ease because we've been told for 400, 300, 500, as long as the world has been going on.
Right.
We have been told that, no, we need to be 10 times better, or we need to wear this Superman, Superwoman cape, and we got to do this and the third. When in actuality, yes, there can be a duality of space where there's hard work, but there's also ease and rest that is deserved.
Right.
Yeah. But I want to get in your business right now because I feel like I got to get to this question.
Get to it.
So we came to the part of the show where it's the confession time question. I'm gonna get up on your business a little bit more.
Do what you gotta do.
And so, and just really indulge into this question. Do you feel as if that with being disciplined and with pursuing a goal or passion, has your ego ever got in the way? If so, could you explain that? If not, dive into that.
Yeah, so like
'Cause ego is something else, child.
yeah, because like once like, all right, so like failing, right? Like I haven't failed it a lot, right? So like you have this personality of like I can't fail, or like you become big headed, or you kind of every now in an argument I poke my chest out, but like I had a partner next to me while I accomplished a lot in recent years, so I don't want to take away. And that's my ego. Like, I might get mad and, I'm doing all this. And when I met you can't pay all these bills. Now you can. Now, whoop-de-doo. You dig what I'm saying? Let's call it what it is. You said get in the business, right? Get in the business, keeping it real. So she's like, when I met you you need to split some things. And now you're in a different space where you can own them all. Cool. That's amazing. However, don't get too big-headed, So I'm so human. Yeah, like I get mad and I talk my little shit. But the reality is she's right though. You know what I mean? So it's remembering like the people that was there with you through the processes, and the people that helped pick you up and build you up when you didn't succeed. And, not to be too man to like say that like people participated. You didn't. All this we have a self-made culture from the dirt, from the mud, with all the black sayings we say.
Listen, I need help.
A lot of it isn't from the mud. Like, just like you said, I mentored you, somebody mentored me. I didn't get my podcast out the mud. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gave me the game. Somebody say, come in here and bring 4 shirts and 3 different pants and mix and match and go shoot your content. Somebody gave me that. You know what I mean? So remembering that, I didn't just create this by myself. Even like having a partner with Dre, and even if I do 60% of it a little more than he does, it ain't my show more than it's his show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not my show. People want to talk to Dre half the time more than they want to talk to me. But what I'm gonna say, it was my idea. This was in my head. No. You know what I mean? You can't do that. It's just not. It's just not real life. So ego is something that possesses us because it's self-rewarding. It's like
yes, I did this.
And it's like. But I tell you what, playing football and being a part of a team, and I was an offensive lineman, so I never scored a touchdown or I never had a big hit, and it was just my recognition. How I knew I was successful, because all these dudes were successful around me. It was the running back getting in for the touchdown, the quarterback throwing for all the yards.
Right.
That's how I knew I was successful. So I don't really come with much ego, but every now and then, you know, you get into a little tiff with your lady, and you think you want to put your shit down, and you be kind of wrong. You be out of line. You think what I'm saying? So ego is terrible. Ego is why a lot of men can't get along.
Okay.
You know, and that's another thing that more than dad be trying to just align. Like we more alike than different for real. You know.
Yeah.
You know, so you're right.
I appreciate you giving that, because a lot of people won't admit that either. I know for me, sometimes my ego kind of gets in the way of my discipline, because I'm like, man, I don't even need it. Like, it was the other day I had answered this question because, like I said, I took my licensure test like probably a couple of times. And, like, it was a question that they had on the practice test. And I was like, I know this. And I got it wrong. I was like, oh. I'm just keep going, because the ego be like, man, I'm just whatever. This ain't it. You already know what it is. Da 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 da.
This don't define me.
Yeah, this don't, man. What? Like, man, I ain't going. I'm gonna close this. All right, I knew the right answer, but whatever. But me putting that aside was like, maybe I just didn't, and I didn't. But let me just give myself the chance to learn again. Let me give myself the chance to just really focus in again and be a student again, because I do not know everything. As much as I have taken it, as much experience I have in the social work world and different populations, I have experience, but I need to know more things. Right. So that does play a part in that, and I think that assessing that in a proper way will get you along a lot better with your goals. So, Lou, I think that's all the time we have today. I want to give you your hands. I love you so much. Thank you so much for coming here and just being able to have a discussion, being able to reflect, to be interpersonal, and just to have an authentic ass conversation. Okay?
I'm proud of you, cuz.
Oh, thank you. Don't make me cry.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you
this
so
was amazing.
much. It was.
All prepared and stuff.
Because I need to be, especially for you. So that is all the time we have, everybody. This is Lou. I'm your host, Vina, and we are out. Peace.